Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming today. My name is Ronaldo, like Ronaldo said, and I will be continuing where Conrad left off. Lessons learned. So the lessons we learned this term with our project was building an app is not easy. It's not as easy as everybody makes it out to be. It's not you just sit in front of your computer and say, give me this app, I want this now. Or give me this, I want this. I want a calculator. You have to go through each syntax, each variable, function, all of those. Never celebrate too early before testing. Always test your code more than once to make sure it's working. Unfortunately, I celebrated after the first test, and when the boss came in and he was like, "Why are you celebrating?" I started showing him the code, and it threw out my first error. So having that feeling in front of the boss is not a very pleasant feeling. So yeah, that's also a lesson that I learned. Group communication is very important when working with multiple people on the same project. Future improvements: adding more functions and controls for the humidity and temperature readings, as well as controls on the app. Building an enclosure to contain the larvae so that they don't run away. Program ESP code for easier setup and adding in newer incubators so that it's easier for you as farmer, or you as the owner of the incubator, to add a new incubator, so you don't have to go to the program and re-enter a new name and add account as well. Connecting data sheets, databases to MQTT servers, and keep the history of all of the values and readings of the humidity and temperature on a statistics and enable secure login by adding security to the app as well. Demonstration. This is just a demonstration of how to log in. So this is the login page. You'll enter your username, and then you'll enter your password and log in. Here you can see your incubator test 1. There's all of the temperature and the humidity, the tank level, and the airflow. Now for a sign up, you can go here. If you don't have an account, you just go to sign up, and then you add your username that you want to choose, that you have chosen, and you add your account, your password for the account, and you just sign up. And then you can add your incubators to your account. And there's your incubator. Now you can see all of the temperatures, the values, and labels. So PPD, for this year, of the PPD that we did this year, we learned about growth and fixed mindset. So just a short explanation of what growth and fixed mindset is. So let's take, for example, you have two humans. One thinks that when you want to become an engineer, you have to be born to become an engineer. And the other one thinks that learning and studying that's the way you become an engineer. So the person for a fixed mindset, the guy who thinks you are born, that will be the fixed mindset. And for a growth mindset, the person who thinks that by studying and learning, you can become an engineer. That's a growth mindset. Questioning beliefs. We also had a mindset assessment, awareness of being present. SMART goals. So S stands for specific, measurable, achievement, relevant, and time-bound. Ashby's law of rigorism and variety. Type of arguments, as well as Dunning-Kruger. So what I'll be going through is PPD, what I thought about, which I found interesting and useful this year of PPD. My site work, which I went out to sites. My work experience, images of all of the work experience, as well as accomplishments. So for PPD, for me, learning to communicate with people in groups and smaller groups, as well as at parties, was probably one of the most useful and most interesting experience or skill that I learned this year. How to write a professional email for your boss or your colleague, as well as sending an email, a meeting through email. And as well as finding out that I actually have a growth mindset, as well as using SMART goals for projects. So for my site work, I helped Automation Works lay out cables underground at the factory just at Bavaria here, the cheese factory, setting up lights at the Bavaria school for their sports that they had one evening, as well as installing cables at the school for the projector. Now that was cables that I had to install through the ceiling, which I nearly fell through, as well as making an antenna holder and installing it at a site. So for making the antenna holder, I went with Nick over there, sitting on the chair, writing my problems down at the moment. So I went with him to a site, me and Conrad, and Nick stood there, he said, you see that antenna there? You'll have to design an holder for it. So I didn't have anything, not a computer, not anything, I didn't have anything. So what I had to do is I had to use my eyes, measure everything, and then went back here and design a holder. As well, also another skill, site work that I did was panel wiring. I did a lot of panel wiring for air cons and for just electricity controls, as well as pumps. Work experiences, computer literacy, Autodesk Fusion 360, AutoCAD, panel wiring, how to draw on PNID, 3D printing. I also learned teamwork, MicroPython, as well as Python. These are all of the work experience that I've gotten this year. This is some of the 3D prints that we did this term. Here's a few just lying here. This is only like the half of which we did. So yeah, this is all keychains for the matrix and Bavaria in Swellendam, which we just gave all of the matrix to say that sterkte for the, yeah, that was literally just sterkte written, as well as from automation and the small text just to help them, encourage them through the exams. This is me overhanding some of the Springboks to the WUF in Railton. Here's me on top of the roof installing an antenna. This is my activity log. This is my work distribution of how much time I spend on what. So this over here is the amount of time that I spend on extra work. That's why we're working late at night, as well as on weekends on project. This is my personal projects or former term projects that I continued with. This is personal education, which I work next door or downstairs. This is my practicals. This is all practical exercises that we did. This is the amount of time that I spent working for Automation Works training facility, designing and 3D printing all of our parts. This is the amount of time I spent on PPD. This is the amount of time I spent on design project. And this is the amount of time I spent on tutorial project, which is the design project that we're presenting. And this is the amount of time that I spent on theory, which is to learn Python, MicroPython, coding it, syntax, functions, as well as variables. I'm busy here printing a vase or not a vase, just a light cover for a restaurant. Here's the antenna. Here's a gazebo that I fixed. Okay, so my acknowledgements. I want to thank the entire Automation Works, as well as the Automation Works training facility, for always being there for me, always helping and always lending an ear to when I'm struggling with something. So just a quick, some of the people of Automation is Nick, Wynand, Tani Elmery, Vian, Cindy, Svia, JC, David, Justin, Maria, and Kevin. I just want to thank all of them for always being there and helping me. Accomplishments. Designing and 3D printing lithophane for the first time as well as completing the Springbok keychains, which that was a very big project. We had to make over 230 of them. As well as learning the basics of stick welding, just the basics. However, the stick welding is not too bad. And I was able to land a job as well. That's also a very big accomplishment.